Okay, guys, what I want to do here is get you to become a little bit more familiar with Google Apps for Education. And I know some of you may have had previous experiences with the Google Suite of Services last year. Some of you may have experimented a little bit on your own with these. But with the move to purchasing Chromebooks 5 through 8 this year, and then hopefully at the high school next year, we'll have a significant portion of our students using the Google Chromebooks. And obviously, we want to try to integrate Google Suite of Services with that. So just a little bit of a background and overview is what I want to give you with this video, get you thinking a little bit about what all is available out there. I know there's a lot. As we've discussed before with technology, it can be overwhelming because there is a lot of stuff out there. And as a former business person myself, I'm always in the mindset of what can I do to consolidate what I'm doing? In other words, how can I streamline what I'm going to be using as far as resources and tools to help me in planning my curriculum and then ultimately delivering that in the classroom. And so as I showed you with My Big Campus, I believe that Google Apps for Education helps do that. There's a lot of different resources and tools that are available with Google that can help consolidate things and make workflow in the classroom as easy as possible when delivering content. So, what I want to just start off here, a little bit of background about Google Apps for Education. Several years ago, Google got into the business of being a provider for education, probably around the time that Apple did, seeing as they're pretty big competitors. And they decided to make a push toward finding that niche in the market. What could they do to take their existing tools that they had and use them in an educational world? So some of these that you see here, Google in your classroom, are things that you have available for use right now. Obviously, Docs and Drive, Gmail, Sites, Chrome obviously is the browser, Google Calendars, which we've talked about, obviously the search engine, but then there are many other things. Using Google Earth and Maps in the classroom is obviously a big opportunity there. YouTube, obviously many of you may be using YouTube videos if you're flipping lessons in the classroom, things like that. Google Play for Education, some of you may be familiar with the Chrome store and that there are apps that you can look for and different things, ebooks and stuff like that you can find on there. We know about Chromebooks, and then there are some other little things down here, but this is essentially the core up here at the top of what Google has created. This Google Classroom, I didn't mention that at first, is something that Google is developing. It's in what they call beta testing right now. There are a number of school districts in the United States that have been using it as a pilot. It is supposed to be available for all school districts that have Google Apps for Education domains like we do, starting in September. So it is my hope that we will have that available for you to use. What that is it kind of streamlines the process of using all of the Google Apps, the suite of services. It allows you to manage your email. It allows you to manage docs in your Drive and things that you share with your students. It allows you to manage what students are doing on Chromebooks. There's a lot of different things that it allows you to do as you use that. So once we find out when that will be available, obviously we'll do some tutorials and dig into that a little bit there. But each one of these, we will, in the course of this unit, I will break these down. So don't worry about knowing them all individually right now. We will break those down into certain videos. What I want to take you to next here is another website. Some of us over at the middle school last year took on a challenge to become Google Apps qualified. Now, there's a lot of language associated with this, and this qualification thing is simply the basic entry level that shows that you've taken some tests, completed some modules, you've studied up on some things, and that you are confident and qualified, is what Google calls it, to be able to use these in the classroom. I found it to be tremendously helpful, and there are a number of staff over at the middle school that have completed this, including Eric as a principal. It's just so much easier to know how to use things, and more than anything is it teaches you how to look for things. You could learn how to use Docs and Drive and Calendar and Sites on your own, but just the kind of whole process of learning the tool and how to search for things when something's not working, having the resource and the know-how to go look for an answer or solution, which is so much of what technology is about. And I really like what they've got right here. I wanted to point this out to you. Dedicated educators are also students. We have to remind ourselves that we should have a commitment to continue to improve as educators each and every day. And so taking on a challenge like this could be something that could be very beneficial, not only for you to develop yourself from a professional standpoint, but obviously with the long-term goal being for your students. The more knowledgeable you are with these things, the better equipped and more efficient you are with them, the better your lessons are going to be for your students. So you can start here with the basics. As it says here, there are basic programs that I showed you, applications that I showed you on that last website that you can choose to look into and take lessons on, and then ultimately you can take basic exams, and then once you pass these series of exams, then you get that certificate saying that your Google Apps qualified. Okay, you can take it a step further and become a Google educator. A little bit more money, a little bit more testing, a little bit more in depth, and then ultimately you can go all the way down to where you're a trainer and a certified teacher, which is ultimately, there are a handful of those people in the country, and those are the kind of people that would go to seminars and conferences and present on behalf of Google to other educators. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a sense here as to what all is involved in applicable with Google Apps for Education. The last thing that I will show you here today is this is my Google Drive here. And I want to show you this apps launcher up here in the upper right hand corner. This is where from a logistical standpoint you would manage all of these different apps, and it's very, very important that you understand terminology and understand where things are. This app launcher is available anytime that you sign into Chrome, into your Gmail, into Drive, and you can get to these things from the web, or you can get to them, obviously they're a lot easier by getting to them from the app launcher here, but any of these things that you want to get into, this is everything that you guys would have access to. If you find that there's an application that you need that you don't have access to, just much like a website request, you can obviously let us know about that. I will tell you that there is something called the Google Chrome Store that will be locked for students. If you find an educational app that you would like for your students to have access to, whether it is something like Google Keep or Lucidchart or anything that you want to use on a regular basis in the classroom that you would like for your students to have, please let us know, and we will push that out to the entire group of students that pertain to you, whether it's a whole 8th grade class, 7th grade class, 5th grade class, whatever. We need to really make sure that we're managing that Chrome store pretty tightly. We found over in the middle school last year that students were able to get access to games and other things through the Chrome store that became a distraction, and we obviously want to try to minimize those. So we're going to go ahead and lock down the Chrome store for the students, but that does not mean that you won't have access to be able to get things that you want for your students to be able to have. So again, that's kind of a quick overview of what Google Apps for Education is, why it's so important, and how it can hopefully be something that you grab onto, embrace, and help make your curriculum better in the future.